Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Deputy Sheriff Robbie Seal. Robbie is the Community Liaison Officer for the Warren County Sheriff's Department. I guess that's your correct title, isn't it? Or
that's close
enough.
Yes, that's very close.
One of the many titles you have, I'm sure, that you does a lot. But he's the eyes and ears and the face of the Sheriff's Department here, basically in our community, that gets around and works in the community policing effort. And Robbie's been coming in here about every month or so and kind of filling us in on what's going on in our community as far as concerning the Sheriff's Department. And we'll throw a little police department work in there too.
Yeah.
You know, he wore that blue there before he went back to the Sheriff's Department.
Yep.
So everyone knows Robbie in the community. And so he comes and tells us all the great stuff. So he's brought a list. And so I've read it and checked it twice. So let's...
Yes, being the Santa that you are, absolutely.
Considering the first thing says holiday operation. So let's talk about the holiday thing and
yes.
what all you did.
Yeah, and you know, rightly so, because it's been a couple months. Actually, we try to get in here every month, but we've been so busy. The holidays obviously makes it busy for everybody's lives. And yeah, we actually, for the holidays, Happy New Year, by the way, everyone. And... going back to Christmas and everything, we did a lot of goodwill work, you know, from the sheriff's office, you know, for the Christmas holidays. Our Operation Telephone, for those that don't know what that is, we have a list of seniors in the community that don't have family or friends that can look after them. So they're on our list in this program where our communications division calls on them, or they call into our division, sheriff's office, to check in. Or we check on them to make sure they're okay. And if we do not reach them, or they do not call, then we send a deputy out to check on them personally. So that's kind of how the program works. But for Christmas, we actually, through the generous support from our community, were able to provide our Operation List telephone seniors with a great Christmas basket of goodies and whatnot to.
Do you make cookies?
Oh, actually, we didn't make cookies, but you know, and I say support from our community. The ladies over at the 7-Eleven near IHOP,
right.
They actually baked cookies and gave some of the the items for us to put in their baskets. And of course, Walmart was another big supporter, as well as the Front Royal Elks, who provided gift cards. So. A lot of support for us to be able to provide for those seniors on our Operation Telephone List.
Kind of like that. You see that commercial, "Help, I fall and I can't get up." But, you know, there's a lot of truth to that.
There is a lot of truth to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. In my career, many a times I've had to go on a call to a house. One of our seniors, you know, obviously fell and go and assist. And if they needed, obviously, emergency help, obviously get that for them as well. Yeah. Just to, if they fail, just to help them, you know, get back up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I know if I have to get on the floor, I make sure I got the chair there because. Mike, you get my age, Robbie. You'll know.
Mike, I'm just about there because my knees can't handle like they used to do. So I know where you're at with that every step of the way. But
so what's second on your list there?
Actually, of course, going along with what we did for the holidays, we also assisted the senior center and the Shenandoah Area Agency on Aging. I got that right this time. I always had trouble with that, but
that's a neat little organization.
It is. They do so much for our senior citizens, but they also provide in their Meals on Wheels program, you know, Christmas gifts and everything to go along with the meals. So I assisted. I do that every week. Try to do it every week or every other week. Assist the staff at the Warren County Senior Center with the Meals on Wheels program.
So they've kind of been locked down with all this COVID stuff. They used to have that where you could go during the week and they would kind of send your grandma there, you know. But,
exactly.
We went over there several times. There's a lot of people, and it's amazing. I remember one time Shay Parker went over there with his guitar and played music for him for a couple hours.
Well, actually, Sheriff Butler's done that.
Yeah.
And you know, and Rodney, I mean,
hopefully they'll get back to that soon.
So many times, because they are with, you know, obviously with the pandemic and everything, it's hurt a lot of people with respects to their. I guess the behavior aspect of it, isolation, depression, and whatnot, and of course the seniors that frequented or would go to the senior center, they had activities to do. They worked together, socialized, and they're missing that.
It was like their family. I mean,
Oh, absolutely, Mike, absolutely. So
this isolation has just drug on to, has made our drug situation. I'm sure we're going to talk about our opioid thing and our overdoses we've had, and the drug task force thing that the sheriff's got going.
Yeah, actually, the sheriff's will be awaiting that conversation with you.
Yes, we're going to be speaking with the sheriff later today. He's going to give us a year-end review. We're going to head over to the sheriff's office and talk to Sheriff Butler, and he wants to get that set up. Can kind of inform everyone what's going on, what we've done, and what we're going to be doing. Yeah. And we're going to tweak him here on that drug task force, because we've talked in the past. I know he's got a lot of plans on that. And I think he's experienced in that area, and I think we're going to come out ahead on that move. I think it'll be good. Yeah. So what's next you got?
The one thing that I wanted to talk on was I have this little pouch or bag right here. We tapped into a grant and received 6,000 of these, and they're actually called deTerra drug deactivation pouches. And the purpose of these are to dispose of unwanted medicines that people have, and it's a means to do so safely. So there's obviously easy instructions on the back, and all you would have to do is just follow the instructions. Put your medications in there and a little water, and it dissolves it, and you can throw it in the trash.
Oh, wow. That's a lot different.
Absolutely. Of course, you can't put sharps in there by any means. Right. Or medications that have specific instructions on how to dispose. But for the most part, it'll take care of the majority of medicines or medications that people have. It's the means, much like we talked back in a previous show, the annual, they try to have it twice a year, drug take-back day.
Right.
And this is actually just another means throughout the year to dispose of your medications, to keep it, and the purpose really is to dispose of them, of course, but really to keep them out of the hands of people that would, the wrong hands of people that may abuse them.
Well, and we don't need to be flushing them down the toilet. That's like the worst thing to do now, because that goes in our drinking water, believe it or not.
It does.
If not ours, downstream.
It does.
We're getting everyone's from upstream, so we definitely don't want to flush down the toilet.
No,
That's something we used to do. Just flush them down. That's how you got rid of that stuff.
Back in the old days,
things Yeah.
But no, what we're looking to, part of the process of receiving these is we get them out to the community. So
how does somebody get some of these?
Well, you can contact the sheriff's office, individuals, or even organizations, businesses. I've actually have a list of businesses and organizations that I network, my partners that we work with, the sheriff's office works with. So I've distributed boxes to them, and I continue to do so to those that are on my list. But we have some of these out on our lobby. If people come in individually, you'll see them out there in our lobby. Help yourselves too. They're free. Take as many as you need, because I'll keep supplying them, because these 6,000 bags are going to last for a good while. And,
right.
And so
sounds like a lot, but they'll go quick.
They will go quick, and if they go quick, that's the whole purpose of why we got them, because we want to see them in the hands of people that can utilize them and get rid of the drugs. So
I got shelves and shelves of old stuff, and you wonder, like, what am I going to do with this stuff? And well, maybe I'll get that illness again. I'll just
yeah, absolutely. But by all means, just give the sheriff's office a call, and if you need a box, actually each box has 200 of them, pouches or bags, and if your organization, business needs them, please give me a call at the sheriff's office. I'll be more happy to give them.
That'd be great.
Provide you some. So next thing on my list, our speed trailer.
Right.
Yeah, and we talk.
People think that's a photo, and I think it's a good deterrent. You're not going to talk about that?
No. I should have told you. Don't tell anybody there's no camera in there. I tell people there is.
Well, most people believe it, no matter what even if we tell you that there's no camera, they don't believe that.
They don't. Well, they look at it much like toll areas. You see the cameras and they take a picture of your license plate. But our speed trailer, and of course the sheriff's office, prior to Sheriff Butler coming aboard, had purchased the speed trailer back in 2016. So Sheriff Butler tasked me to be in charge of that. And I came up with the idea, approved by the sheriff, which he has just jumped on board and says, yeah, this would be great. Let's utilize our trailer to do speed survey analysis on the road, many roads here in Warren County, as well as subdivisions that have issues with speeding. And so I've actually conducted several surveys analysis surveys with the speed trailer, setting it up for about 5 to 7 days, and downloading the information. And it's very surprising, when we get complaints, Mike, of from our citizens, and the perception to people is that. And, if speeding is speeding, you don't know exactly what speed they're going. But when people are speeding or drivers are speeding, people say, well, they're going 50, 60, miles per hour. And this the speed trailer, the software and the data that I'm seeing is with complaints like that and where I've had it, it actually shows, 60, 70%, really 70% and over of people really complying with the speed limit. It's just a relatively few, 20% that don't. And even less than that, 1 or 2% that actually go 10 miles over the speed limit. Mm-hmm. But when we see 1 or 2 people really speeding at an outlandish, rate of speed, that in a person's mind, that sticks with them, and that's the basis of why there's a problem in that area. But no matter what, whether in the areas that we set up the speed trailer and whatever it indicates, say if it's not a high priority street that we're going to do enforcement on. If it is a high priority street, then I share this information not only with the officers, but with the citizens. I'll send them letters with a copy of the data, the graph, shows the graph and the numbers associated with what was surveyed, and it gives them an idea of what kind of problem, if a problem existed in the neighborhood. And it sends our officers, if it's a major problem, we send our officers out there to enforce speeding. But regardless of what the numbers are, if we get a complaint from our citizens about a speeding issue out there, we're going to address it. We definitely address it and enforce it. So, but this is a great tool to get out there and really gauge what problems exist out in the county as far as speeding.
So what he's trying to say is he's going to look for a grant to put a camera inside.
That's coming though.
Don't be surprised.
That's coming. We'll see that, but absolutely, it's a good tool right now, and we're going to try to cover as many of the roads out there. And
it's an important thing in speeding. It's we have that in town. We have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit virtually everywhere, but Commerce Avenue.
Right.
And it's hard going up and down these hills and these streets. Sometimes 25 is.
Well, yeah.
And you'll notice that.
And really, when we start, in my experience, it was my practice, and really, it's a practice of law enforcement overall. We're really not, speeding is speeding, but I can honestly say, from my experience and officers back in the police department, even sheriff's office, of those that I've worked with, we're very lenient and understanding with speed issues. And you're going to have to really pick it up and go over, you hit the 10, 12, 13 mile mark over the speed limit, you're going to get looked at. For the most part,
they throw the book at you.
Yeah. It's just a means of being proactive in the community with what we're trying to do to make our streets safer. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's number 5 on the list?
Number five. We have a real big problem. I spoke about this before. Taking an initiative to help our solid waste department with the county with the dumping issues, compliance issues on people dumping at the compactor sites. We're really developing, or there's a big problem over the holidays was really, really bad when it came to people just dumping their trash just on days that they were closed. There's signage that are out there. Actually, solid waste is going to improve the situation, based on my recommendations for the potential of being, if we have to charge people, as far as being able to prosecute the case in court. So we're going to tighten up, obviously, on trash dumping. Over the holidays, I mentioned people had dumped their trash in front of the gate, or I call it the hopper to the compactor, 8 foot high, as tall as the fence that was, especially on 522.
Sure.
340 was another issue as far as people just dumping their trash. I am not too proud to dig in trash. And since
there's a lot of information hidden inside those bags.
You would be yes. And I have made visits to homes to people expressing
with their bag and say, you left this.
Well, actually, I did take the bag. I gave them a choice. And the choice was, I can easily cite you for the illegal dumping, which could be up to a $2,500 fine, 12 months in jail, or you can go back and take care of that trash and dispose of it properly. Most people do that. But it's gotten to the point now where we're going to be digging in trash, and we're going to find ID, because people don't think about...
No.
Yeah. And we're
That
going to
phone bill got stuck in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start charging people. So the message here is to our citizens out there, Wednesdays is the day of the week that the compactor sites are closed. When that gate is closed, that means no dumping, period. Period. And so when trash is piled out there in front of that hopper, it's going to be looked at, and we're going to be placing charges. Obviously, if it hurts, it hurts the pockets. That's that's going to be the deterrent factor to eradicate it, stop it altogether.
But they have budgeted to be open. They're open on the weekends and holidays.
Well, that's just it. And, the county really. I mean, when you start thinking about it, Mike, they're open on weekends, and most people are off on weekends. They get rid of their trash for the most part. A lot of people work during the work days. So Wednesdays and the attendance, and this is what gets me. I have a passion for seniors. You know that. Our senior citizens. Well, the attendants, for the most part, are veterans, seniors that are well in their 60s, 70s. I think the oldest is 88 years old. Bless your heart, Noah Carroll. And they are the ones that are there they're there because they love to socialize with people.
Sure.
And they're there and they press that button to compact the trash and everything and tell people the right way to dispose of their trash. But they get a lot of flack. That they don't need to be. I mean, I'm talking our veterans people, and they don't need that flack. They're just out there doing a simple job. If they tell you you're dumping the wrong type of material and you have to take it to Bentonville, be courteous, be kind, and do it the right way. It's sad that it has to be like that, but that's where we come in, because we want to help with that situation, and that's the means of why I want to help with that situation. That's the means of why we're looking to enforce it more so.
Right. Well, trash is a serious problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to really stay on it, and we do have those sites, and they've added a few over the years around parts of the county.
Yeah.
So of course, we live in Front Royal in the town limits. We have our trash pickup, but we're still county residents, and we can use those dumpsters and go out there and do that. So it's not just limited to out of the town. So if you have something to.
Yeah, well, and
if your trash can's full, we run them out to the dumpster.
And the problem is we all love convenience, and the compactor sites allow the convenience. So if you got items, construction materials, things that need to be taken to Bentonville, then that creates an inconvenience.
Sure.
And that contributes to why people dump illegally or put their metal in the plastics hopper or the container.
Sure.
and all that. So we got and the solid waste has cameras out in the 522 site. So we're going to utilize the cameras, of course, and for those areas that can't really be seen, and that sort of thing. So,
well, I know the county and statewide has cracked down on this illegal dumping out in the places that are not at the compactors, because it's a real problem.
Right.
And we've seen those areas as you drive around. Eventually, they get cleaned up and prosecuted for people that do that. And nowadays, everyone's got a cell phone, and you think you're running there at 2:00 in the morning going to dump that. Trust me, there's somebody going to see you.
Well, they are, and we do get calls like that. And of course, we've actually, other than just monitoring the sites and enforcing the issue or the dumping issues at the compactor sites, we've actually written tickets. Along 340 out there going to Bentonville on vehicles that have not secured their trash.
Right.
For the most part, where the trash is flying out all over the roadway. In fact, RSW has been out there this week picking up with the inmates picking up a lot of the trash along 340.
Yeah. Well, and it goes the trash goes along with that littering. I can remember. I'll tell you this little story. When I was 16 years old, we're at about 2:00 in the morning. On a Friday night, we're cruising through town, not in Front Royal. It's in Tucson when I was in high school, and all of a sudden, red lights are flashing.
Right.
The siren going off. Oh my gosh, we're just cruising around.
Right.
And the officer walked up to the passenger door, didn't come to the driver door, didn't talk to me at all. I was driving. And the guy says, "Where's that Coke can you just had?" And I guess I didn't know. He had slung this out of the window, and made him go back and pick that
and
wrote him a ticket.
Yep.
Didn't even ask to see him. It was 2:00 in the morning, and it was about that littering. And I kind of have a passion about this. Nothing gripes me more than pulling up at a traffic light out there in front of the Walmart, and someone opens the door and dumps their ashtray out in the middle of the road. Oh, man, that just.
Yeah.
I said, well, I wish I had blue lights I could turn on.
Oh yeah, and I've done that many a times. It was a simple cigarette, but flipped out right in front of me. And when I'm in back of a vehicle that does that, the only thing I can think about is look at all the people watching me to see what I'm going to do, because they see the same thing.
Sure.
And that's ingrained in me.
The lights go on.
The lights go on, and that person gets a really good talking to, because
it seems like a little thing, but there's a lot of ramifications of cigarette butts, plus other than just the litter.
Oh yeah.
And they fling around. The wind blows them into someone's car, and it's a mess. So we want to, we're kind of an anti-littering bunch here, but there's a reason for it.
Well, it is.
It affects the beautification of our town, and
it is.
Nothing worse than driving somewhere and seeing trash along the highway. That is just a nasty.
Yeah.
It doesn't say much for your community.
Well, if you're gonna, much like you're gonna label front row of the gateway to the Skyline Drive, for the most part, you want obviously you want your gateway to be beautified.
Sure.
And
a lot of money we spend on keeping trash
absolutely.
The grass mowed. That's a lot of money. So let's do our part.
There we go.
All right, we're on to number 6.
We're actually on the number 6, and this kind of the segue into your talk with the sheriff later on after this. But
give me some pointers. I need to ask you.
Well, some of the pointers is not on the list, but his vision. His vision has been tremendous, and I had a talk with him several months ago. I said, Sheriff, and of course he brought me on as well as sort of advise him as with my experience and everything. And I said, you're doing everything you said in your campaign, you've almost completed. He said, you need to slow down, or you're going to have gray hair. I mean, gray hair is just as much as or no hair at all. And his philosophy was, I'm not a politician, Robbie, by any means. He said most politicians, they promise these things, and they may wait to make one or two things, and then it's re-election time.
Right.
And they're concentrating on their. He said, I want to knock it out. I want to knock it out of the ballpark. And I said, I want to get these things in place, done, get my staff, my people where they need to be to fit the vision that I have for the sheriff's office. And he's done that. I mean, it's blown me away what he's doing. It's tremendous. And he's not scared to step out of the box and do things that may, disrupt what had been going on for years, or putting maybe a little negativity on some people with the fact it's change, and how people are with change. But for the most part, he's doing it because it's his vision of how he sees it's going to work versus what's not working.
Right.
But the one thing he's done and he's doing, and we're putting more deputies in the schools. He's looking to, as well as our dispatchers, to be in the schools and work to be role models and mentors. He wants to get more programs involved with the youth, much like Explorers program, football camps. I think he's got something lined up here in the spring to have a football camp. One of our communications, our dispatchers, Robert Henson, is a former Washington Redskin linebacker, and he's with the sheriff's office now, and we're going to utilize Mr. Henson to be there at the camps and everything, and as well as other deputies. So examples like that, and fun day events. We're hoping to have. We had one. It was sort of a scaled down version of the youth camp, but we're looking to have these fun day camps where we can take the kids that are recommended by counselors within schools, the needy children that really need the role model effect and that sort of thing.
A little extra attention, maybe.
Absolutely, and get them involved in a fun day with our deputies. And I remember last year we had and this young man was like I think he was 12, 13 years old, never had been taught how to fish, and we went out there to the Skyline
Ranch?
Yeah, Ranch Resort. Thank you. And we went out there, and they actually loaned us their pool, and they had ponds out there, and we took the kids fishing, and I showed this young man exactly how to catch a fish and how to bait the line and everything, and to him that meant the world.
Yeah,
that meant the world. Something totally new, and it was very rewarding for me to be there and help him with that. But yeah, examples like that, and
you don't realize that the dividends that's going to pay down the road.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing
Well,
little things.
to be honest with you, when I grew up, I grew up the oldest of 5 sons under a single mom, and I was involved. I was a little. When we talk about little, big brothers, big sisters program, I was a
Sure.
little, and that was a tremendous program for me as a youth, and I learned a lot. And it's sort of my ways from that experience. All the years I've been doing this is being the big now,
Sure.
being the big brother, and being that role model effect, or trying to do the best I can and being
Sure.
a positive role model, for our youth. So yeah, it works. It definitely works.
Does work.
Yeah.
Well, I do know the sheriff has stepped outside the box, and I know he's take a little bit of hit on the drug task force removal, but he's had this conversation. I've been involved with him before. I remember even in the campaign, he brought this up about, he said he would evaluate it and see what it was doing for Warren County in our area, and then he had some ideas, and I know he had experience in that down and working in the Herndon, Fairfax area,
Yep.
and had some real positive results. So he's going to be bringing
Yeah.
that forward, and hopefully I'll squeeze some information out of him when I talk to him. But
Yeah.
that's one thing, and he did say, well, we hold certain things close to the vest.
Right.
But I've talked to people that have been on these grand juries, and some of them, they're very disappointed with just seeing the same people being indicted. One joint, one pill, and nothing ever more than that.
Yeah.
And I know the sheriff was disappointed in that as well. And a lot of that, your hands are tied when you belong to some of these organizations,
Yeah.
and you have protocols and rules of engagement,
Yeah.
so to speak. So we'll see going
Yeah.
forward if we can't be a little more proactive
Yep.
in that area, because it's only going to get worse based upon, to me, the isolation, but the false sense of legalization.
Yeah.
Let me use it that word.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're seeing this. People just think everything's legalized,
Right.
and not as much as I think it will be.
Well, yeah.
And of course,
And really that's an example with the drug task force issue. That of him not afraid to step out of the box and do something different in line with his vision. But if you look, much like what I've talked about here today, with some of the proactive things we're doing, that's been his track record
right.
on proactivity
Sure.
within the community.
Yeah,
If
jump out ahead of it. That's what he wants
absolutely.
to do.
I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and he's got a vision that is a very proactive vision for this county.
Well, I told Robbie I'm waiting to do my ride along, and I'm going to bring the camera. And I said I don't want to be riding with him because all I'll see is little old gray haired ladies.
Little gray-haired ladies.
He'll be having me walk him across the street. I want to go where I want to see the sheriff's department in action. You know, and so we'll do some. Get one of
I'd
these.
love to have you, and I think you really enjoy it.
I think it'll be an experience that we can share with the community of what really goes on an average Friday night in Warren County.
Oh, yeah.
And where all you go. I mean, we have one of the smallest counties in the state, but it's a lot of roads, and a lot of roads to nowhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true.
We know how that is.
Yeah.
Anything else? You got a number 7 on that?
No,
list?
I'm done. I'm actually did for save something for next time we get together.
Well, we got to do that. We'll get together in a few weeks, and we'll bring you up to date what's going on. But we want to mention real quick on the Community Action Committee. Anything?
Oh, yeah, our CAC.
Bring us up to date on that, because that was something we talked about in the last couple times.
Very active. We've had several meetings already. We have our next meeting February 18th, but we really got a good crew on board as far as citizens that make up our community. Our CAC. I like to simplify it, but
that's because he doesn't know what it stands for.
Community Advisory Committee.
There you go.
So anyway, actually, Captain Robert Mumaw, he's actually going to be the lead. Our Major Driscoll, he's actually going through academy training right now. But Captain Mumaw and myself will be the contact people, obviously, that associate with the CAC for the time being, and going real well.
Next time you come in, give us some things that you've done with that.
Yes.
And some of the how we've applied it to our community policing.
And I know the chair of that CAC, Bruce Townsend, he was here and had a talk with you.
Right.
So Bruce has obviously been very proactive with the agenda and talking points of what we need to focus on as far as the sheriff's office. So
we want to share some of those results of what the committee's done and how it's influenced the sheriff's department and the community, and see how that's worked.
Sounds good. We'll definitely, we'll bring
Robbie,
up to date.
again, I appreciate you coming in. I know you're busy. So we're going to leave out of here and head over to the sheriff's office. He wants to do it in his office because he must want to show me something.
Oh, he must have. Yeah. A year in review.
A year in review. That's what he said. A year in review.
I think it's a good title. Yeah.
And sometimes, we had a congregational meeting at our church last week, and we did the same thing. And you don't realize, even though we've had with pandemics and stuff going on, we said, well, look, this is what we've accomplished this last week, and there was a long list, and you didn't realize, wow, yeah, we did do that, didn't we? And then talk about what we're going to do in 2021, and I think it's always good to go back, and even as a family and as a business, a church, to go back and review what you've got done.
Oh, I agree.
Sit back, because you don't realize how much stuff you did or stuff you didn't do.
Absolutely, Mike.
And make a list and set that out as a goal to work on. And I think we all should do that. I think it's a good idea.
Very good practice.
Well, again, appreciate you coming in, and we'll see you next month.
Yes, I'll be here.
We'll have some goodies to talk about and bring some of them chocolate chip cookies. And
yeah.
I'm on a diet,
Well, I was getting ready to say, you're looking good.
I got that Oprah filter turned up. We want to try to shrink that Oprah filter.
We'll skip the cookies, Mike, to keep you disciplined in what you're doing with yourself. Absolutely.
Everything's good. We really appreciate it. Thank Mark Williams working our camera today. So everything's great. And again, Robbie, I appreciate you so much. And
thanks for
the
having
work
me.
you do, and the sheriff as well. So again, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me, Mike.